Hello. What's up? It's Chatter. I am here to give a real quick rundown of playoffs for Community Division. Sorry a bit about some of the background noise on this recording. It's I don't know. I can't figure out how to make it go away, so it's just gonna be there. Um, basically, we just finished week 9. I had to give it a couple FFs at the end of the day, but it wasn't too bad. So, going into playoffs, we have a very clear top 10. If you don't know how playoffs works for the season, the top 10 are making it. There's basically going to be a top 8 bracket that the top 6 have already automatically made it, and then there are going to be 2 games to determine the last 2 slots between the top 10. So there's sort of this first week of playoffs is sort of a play-in between the 10 seed and the 7 seed with the 8 seed and the 9 seed. So those are the 2 games for this week. And you'll see we have a very clear cutoff here. 5 and 4 players, unfortunately, will not make it into playoffs, but 4 and 5 players won't. But all the 5 and 4 players did make it in. So yeah, pretty much this is the top 10. Everyone Trey and above. We have exactly 4 5 and 4 players, and they'll be going up against each other, and the 2 people that win those matches will make it into the bracket with all of our 6 and 3 and aboves. So making the playoffs is Trey, TML, Silverio, Ace, Cam, Victor, Wombo, Bloody, Granbell, and John Paul, who actually managed to be the first seed, which is surprising, because I think throughout the entire season and all the weekly recaps, we're talking about how Granbell and Bloody were undefeated up to week 7, but John Paul, who lost one of his first 2 games, ended up just winning all the rest of his games and is A-1 with slightly more differential than Granbell, putting him to the 1 seed and Granbell at the 2 seed. And then Bloody unfortunately lost both his last 2 games, so will end up being the 3 seed, which means if we look at the bracket, we might see Bloody versus Granbell very early on in the bracket, which will be exciting. And then everyone else, I think all these 6 and 3 players had pretty good seasons. And then let's see, Ace. Ace, I believe, was he had 3 games to play going into the last weekend of the game, but he did actually get them all played and won 2 out of 3 of them. And then let's see, I don't know. I don't have much to say. Silverio got the buff midway through the season that he remembered that Roserade gets Weather Ball. TML, I think, had a pretty consistent season throughout, and Trey, I think, started off quite well, but sort of has fallen off a little bit towards the end. He got, I think, at least 1 FF loss in this last week. But yeah, so that's pretty much how the playoff picture looks, and here is the bracket. I am going to do a prediction while I'm here. And yeah, so you'll see for this first week, I really only need these 2 games to happen. The Wombo, Victor, and Bloody Cam games can happen this week if they want to, but they'll have to wait until for a couple weeks for these games to happen. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and create a prediction. I am not sure. Oh, all these goddamn ads. I'm not sure where to start here. So let's do Silverio versus TML. I think I'll have to give this to Silverio. Although I really think I could go either way. I don't have huge opinions on either of those players. But Silverio does, in fact, know that he can use Weather Ball in his Mega Rose right now, so I don't know. Gives him a slight buff. Then Ace versus Trey. I think I'll have to give to Ace. He's been winning most of his recent matches, whereas Trey sort of hasn't. So I think I'll have Ace win that one. Now we get into the real top 8 bracket here. First up, John Paul versus Silverio. I feel like I have to predict John Paul to win that. Just, he's 8-1. He hasn't really lost since. Let me actually figure out what week it was. He hasn't lost since. It might even be week 1 that he lost. Yeah, no. He won week 1. He lost week 3 to Bloody. And then after that, he hasn't lost. So he hasn't lost in 6 weeks, which is a long time. So I have to keep him moving. And Wombo versus Victor. That could go either way. I do think Victor's a pretty good player. But I think both of these players are pretty good. It might depend on the matchup, but I'm not really gonna look at that. I think I'm inclined to give the win to Victor. Although, I'll come back to it because here I do think Gramble is gonna beat Ace. I think that one's a lot easier. And then Bloody versus Cam. This is a tough round 1 matchup for Bloody, I think, because Cam is a little better than the 6 seed gives him credit for. But I'm hoping that Bloody can really do well. So I am going to give it to Bloody, although that means that we have this matchup for the 2 undefeated for a long time in round 2, which that's going to be a fun one. And then I might as well do this one. I think I'll actually give it to Wombo. I know I've just chosen the top seed in every game so far, but I think I'm gonna change that here because I think both of these players are actually have the capabilities of beating John Paul. Although John Paul is the 1 seed, I think he might struggle a bit in playoffs because I don't know, people will be paying more attention and spending more time on their games. So I think I'm gonna take Wombo into the finals. I think he's been doing pretty well this season. He's been impressing me. And then, unfortunately, the Granbell versus Bloody game. That's gonna be a really fun one. I'm gonna have to make sure I watch that one, but I do think I'll give the one to Granbell here. And I believe that my tournament winner is gonna be the most common tournament winner, and that's Granbell. So I'm looking at my email. Oops. So yeah, that's my prediction. If you're in one of these 2 games, I'm probably gonna pester you because to make sure you submit me your teams before too long, like in the next day or so, because we don't have a whole lot of time to work on submitting teams this week since you didn't know the matchups until just now. So, yep, I will make sure that those teams get submitted, and then, this week, just get those 2 games done, and then we'll move into the main bracket soon. That's it. Thank you for watching. Just a real quick one I wanted to do for the playoffs. See ya.